Previously on Rabbi and Son.
I'm a person that believes, like, if you think something's wrong when one person does it, that means when another person does it, you should also feel as though it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's losing perspective.
Right.
Like, you can't say democracy's eroding and then advocate for a practice that's actively eroding democracy. Right. And then saying, no, it's going to save us this way. Mm-hmm. It's not.
And I wonder if when we frame everything in this kind of warfare-like language, it's us against them and whatever, if it does lend itself to a little bit of a freedom of, well, then, yeah, of course I'm going to be okay with blah, 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 doing this thing, going against my, firmly held convictions on such and such a thing. Because we're in a battle, we're in a war, we're fighting for everything. And that's where I think religion has to do a better job, is providing people a little bit of that sort of compass.
And just, why? To win?
Right.
Like, if you believe this is the war, is this a battle that you want to fight?
Yeah.
Think about that. Is this actually a battle that you want to fight? Of already suppressing the voice that you don't have to spite somebody else. It's not what people say, it's what people do.
Right.
So they're actually making, strides forward on certain issues that, you can feel good on. That's great. That's fantastic. Or is it that, people are saying this now?
Right.
And I do feel like that is a, good, I feel like, with this whole Israel-Palestine thing.
Yeah.
Like, do these people really care about these issues? Or is it just in the media and now they need something?
Right.
Are they really in the best interest of both these groups of people?
Right.
Or are they using it for a moment?
Right. What do you do in a post-truth society? What do you do in a world where you can generate images online, where you can take images and use them out of context, where you don't necessarily know fact from fiction, right from wrong, and where there's two sides to every story, and the story is usually something in the middle? And, if everything is this person versus this person, and there's no sort of sense of there's a middle reality that we all agree on, I don't know how you move forward, like, with any of this stuff. I mean, with Israel, we were talking about this, like, right after dinner, actually, that there's 12 photos that basically have made the rounds as, evidence that there is starvation in Gaza, which I want to make very clear. I am super against any form of weaponized hunger, period, end of story. So it just is what it is. And it's like we're doing improv all the time. It's like, yes, and. So the yes, and is it is morally unconscionable to do that. And also, if the 12 photos that are being shown online are of children who have, like, developmental disabilities, genetic issues, things like that, where you are more susceptible to even basic problems of nutrition, right? Like, it is not a good thing for a healthy child to go hungry. It is even worse for a child who has different types of disabilities. However, if you say that child was perfectly healthy until now, you're lying, right? And so it's a yes, and. Yes, you should not weaponize hunger, and you shouldn't be propping up images that Hamas is wanting to have floating around as, like, this kid was perfectly healthy 2 weeks ago, and now they're emaciated. And so what do you do with it? It's exhausting. Like, it's absolutely exhausting, because if you want to hold the moral center, it only holds if we can agree that, like, this picture is of a starving kid, this isn't photoshopped. Or, like, there was a photo that was going around that was showing a child who was starving, and it was a kid in Yemen, which, by the way, I don't hear a lot about Yemen. Like, there's famines in Yemen.
No, but
you know what I mean?
And see, this is my problem too, because I don't, like, I do think people always care when harm is done to children.
Right.
And that's great.
Here's hoping.
You should care.
Here's hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people actually harm children, and people want to shield those people. But that's
Yeah.
another conversation for another day.
Yep.
But, and that's great that people care about that. But it's like, hyper focusing on like this one issue, which the media does, while like, like Yemen, that has been an issue for decades.
Right.
Why hasn't no one said anything about that?
Right.
Like, and like, it's fine to not, know about these things.
Right.
But if you claim to be a person that, in tune with the suffering of the world,
right.
Then I think that this would be something that would have caught your eye.
Well, to that point, I actually pulled up Human Rights Watch, and I kind of thought, this would be, of course, right when I pulled that up. Of course, it's like not on my phone. Okay, so like latest news, right? So you're a bit of a news junkie, and you have gotten more into news since you've been back because you didn't really have access to it. But like, okay. Democratic Republic of Congo. How much you hearing about that? Let's see. So article number 2 is about Israel, Gaza. Okay, we're hearing a lot of that. Okay, fine. Burkina Faso, Kazakhstan. Okay, Sri Lanka, Ukraine. Hearing a little bit about that still, obviously. Ecuador. This has to do with rainforest protection, so it's a little bit of a different thing. But just off of that stuff, I mean, M23 mass killings near Virunga National Park in the DRC. I had no idea about that. Burkina Faso expels a senior UN official following a critical report. I didn't know about that. Issues in Sri Lanka, police target the families of the disappeared. I had no idea about that. That's all horrible stuff that I would want to know about. But all of the bandwidth is being taken up by one issue, 2 issues, 5 issues, right?
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, I was watching the whole Burkina Faso thing when their government collapsed.
Oh, really?
And, the current, I'm going to call him leader.
Okay.
And when he took power, and then, because they did expel, like, the French.
Right.
Like, when they took back their country.
Right.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, there's always something going on over there.
Right.
But yeah, Sri Lanka, I hadn't heard about that. I mean, yeah. There are a lot of issues that are pressing that, should be getting as much media attention. And I feel like if people want to have this image of, I really care about people being harmed.
Right.
Then I think you should, not just monopolize one topic when, there are continued acts of suffering elsewhere.
I mean, when the Druze in sort of southern Syria, north of Israel were, being attacked, I mean, it was a genocide. I mean, literally, it was. Like, they were literally going around saying, are you Arab or are you Druze? Bam. And that the fact that was reported on, but it didn't, for some reason, hold. Like, that didn't hold people's emotionally, or the issues going on with Yemen, or we had a Lebanese man who did some repairs on the house, and he saw the the home blessing plaque that we have, and he saw my license plate, which had my bumper that has some Jewish bumper stickers on it, and he basically, we talked about Israel, and he said, tell your friends in Israel, we don't, as a Lebanese person, he's like, tell your friends in Israel, we do not want war. No one in my country wants war. And he said, the whole problem is Hezbollah. We don't want them. We're stuck with them. Here's why I'm here in America instead of back home in, Beirut, where he was from. Right. But I don't hear people talking about, like, how horrible Hezbollah is. I don't hear people talking about, like, there used to be this country, this land called Kurdistan, and the Kurds have been, under the thumb of tyrants forever, right? And that is a group that I think personally deserves their national homeland, right? And you don't hear about this stuff, and it drives me bonkers.
I mean, even with Ukraine, that issue was very front page media.
Right.
Everyone was talking about it, and now you barely
no
hear
one
anything.
even talks about
you
it.
barely
Right.
hear anything. I mean, you hear slipping reports like when something major happens, but other than that, it's pretty much an afterthought for some people. And even with China and Taiwan, like we're focusing on the Taiwanese,
right?
What about the people in Hong Kong?
Right.
What about the Tibetans?
Right. Oh yeah, we listen. 90s peak talking about Tibetans. I had a Tibetan flag in my bedroom. I was all about that.
Yes, there are people.
The Uyghurs. That's another group of China. Yeah.
Multiple groups are suffering, and then there's hyper focusing, and then there's attacking, and granted, because inevitably people in the comments, I read your mind before you start typing out. Inevitably it's going to be trying to do this suffering Olympics, and that's not what we're trying to do. Right. We're trying to say, hey, these are more issues going on, right? And that those attention as well, right? And this is this podcast about. We're not going to only talk about Israel Palestine. Yes, in the news, and yes, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, of course, because of course we would. Of course we would.
But there are also more issues going on, and because I guarantee you, there are going to be some people that say, well, I've been keeping up with this issue more than the issue that you laid out. Mm-hmm. Great. And some people don't keep up with Israel Palestine. Right. Right. And, Ukraine and Russia. Right. So give people grace, in their learning journey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're all learning. Yeah. We're all trying to understand. And even with this topic, the whole Israel Palestine topic in general, I'm not really, I don't know the whole history.
Sure.
And I'm not going to.
It's a long history.
So, yeah, just give people grace before you try to attack them. Yeah. Yeah. And when people, try to say, hey, this is bad, and they're some issues are black and white, but most of the time they're gray. Right. And we're trying to figure that out together. You attacking someone is not going to make them listen to you more. Right. You saying this and this why you're wrong, and then your name calling. Also, another issue in society, we don't know how to have conversations. Mm-hmm. And I'm using the general we when I mean people, not I.
You people in the comments.
Yes, not I.
That's why we had to do a whole special episode just about the comments.
Yes, and keep commenting, because I will keep gathering you up in the comments.
That's right.
But anyway, yeah, people cannot have conversations now. It's always a debate, and not really even a debate, a screaming match where people aren't hearing. Right. Matter of fact, they're hearing, but they're not listening. Right. No, people are hearing things, but are not listening. Are not digesting those things, and actually came in there to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. Yes, I get it when you feel passionate about an issue that you may, may get louder, may get more passionate. That's cool. That's great. There's difference between that and you actually yelling at someone and then calling them names. Because, when I'm bored, I have my fun on social media. And I would say I know, more than the average Joe about American politics, Right.
Yeah, it's your thing. Yeah, yeah.
And, what I'm passionate about. And when it comes to actually asking people why they believe in things, they tend to not answer those things, deflect, and then Right. How do you, as a person, if we're trying to have a conversation and then, you say, that's why you're fat and your mom is ugly. And, and this is why you're wrong.
Right.
And then, like, you think you just ate it up and you think that, that little sass made anything happen.
Right.
If anything, it made them be like, wow, that person is absolutely nuts.
Sure. Can't talk to those people anymore.
Yeah. And then it's like, once you cannot have a conversation, you cannot articulate your ideas and why you believe in
right.
What you believe in. I don't know why I said it like that. But you get the point.
We get what you're saying.
Yeah, you immediately you lost the plot. You lost the argument for your side. Mm-hmm. You just lost it. So you can't be just going anywhere acting a fool and thinking that, oh yeah, we're gonna be and that's how my idea. If you can't properly articulate the ideas that you have in your head,
right,
then like, what are you even doing here?
Right.
Why you're doing more harm than good if you can't sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
Even in the face of I get it. People are liars. And one thing about people, they're gonna lie. Cause like I said, logic has become circular.
Yeah.
And no matter how many times you can't break them out of that cycle. So yeah, I think people as a whole need to remember how to converse and actually be okay with people disagree with them.
Yes.
You having a conversation and then being like, well, we don't agree. See you tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, that agreement on all things all the time is an unhealthy basis for a relationship. Yeah. Because that's impossible.
Yeah, and why would you want to be around people who agree with you all the time? I'm personally not that person. I can't be...
You like the fun of getting into it with people.
Yeah, plus
not in a mean way.
I can't just be in a conversation where everyone's agreeing. I'm going to play devil's advocate at that point.
Right.
Because I just can't be in a space where everyone just like greasing each other up and just like agreeing. Right. And like, there are other perspectives. And if you can come from the other perspective and you can think about the other perspective and then counter that,
right,
that makes your argument stronger.
Well, going back to the issue of Israel and Gaza and Palestine is when we had that event that we went to that I hosted, which was the dialogue thing, and you totally went to it and you seemed like really into it. And there were plenty of times where you would say something I would disagree with, or you would play more the middle on something on a topic where I thought you might be more on the polar opposite of that. And I could tell that you were having fun just hearing what other people said and hearing how people challenged each other.
Yeah, and that's, the fun of it. Nobody, well, I wouldn't say nobody, but, the majority of people went there, open mind, ready to have a conversation, ready for disagreement.
Right.
Ready to articulate why they disagree with you.
Right.
And then, agree to disagree. Or agree to agree.
Right.
Or, be like, oh, well, that changed my perspective on this. And then you go to the next topic. That's what we need to learn how to do.
Yeah.
And it's sad that I'm at, I'm not even in my prime yet, but,
You're not in your prime yet. You're in the beginning.
Yeah.
You're in the beginning stages.
Beginning. And that people who are much older than me are losing this.
Yeah.
And, like, I just don't know. Maybe it's just, like, I don't even know what's happening to the world, actually. Because it's like, who are the adults? Like, you're 60 and you're doing this.
Right.
What's going on?
Right.
What is actually going on? Are you okay? Like, can you not... Did you forget how to converse? And I get people feel like, are feeling like the walls are closing.
Yeah.
But, if you're constantly watching people tell you that the walls are closing, you're going to believe that the walls are closing.
Yeah, it goes back to that war metaphor.
Yeah, I need people to, we learned this at, summer camp.
Okay.
To re-regulate.
Okay. Good.
Step back.
Yep.
Breathe into your nose, breathe out through your mouth, feel your feet on the ground. And ground yourself in reality. The reality is that the media blows things out of proportion.
Yep.
Because that's what's hot.
Yep.
And that's not what's actually happening in your day-to-day life. Yes, you can believe there's a problem, but don't make that problem like the all-consuming thing.
Right. It doesn't need to eat at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can learn how to be like, oh my gosh, hey, this is a problem. I'm really concerned about this. And then also be able to function in, in life rather than just like super paranoid, super, oh, they're out to get me.
Right.
Because like if everyone's paranoid and everyone's out to get you, then like that's crazy.
And if you don't learn how to, I like this idea of re-regulate. If you don't learn how to re-regulate, then you never give yourself room in your spirit to be able to handle the next problem coming up. Like we were talking about, all of these things that we were reading about, like the Human Rights Watch stuff, right? And what kicked this off is that you and I were going to talk about Israel and Gaza. But then you threw a curveball at me today about Tigray and what's going on there. Tell the people kind of what the story is a little bit.
Okay, I'm not gonna pretend I know everything because it just, like I said, we're all at different stages in our, learning journey. But, once again, learning about new things that come into my perspective.
Sure.
So Tigray is a, region in Ethiopia, and I'm just gonna read the article from the Global Conflict Tracker. Yeah. Tension in Ethiopia's Tigray region have escalated significantly, threatening to reignite conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Eritrea.
Eritrea. So that's the country that's north of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it on the map.
Yeah, no worries.
Near Yemen and Somalia and South Sudan.
Yeah, all places that are doing fantastic right now. Yeah. So, definitely lots of tourism going on there.
Yeah, threatening, Eritrea and destabilizing the Horn of Africa. The Tigray People's Liberation Front is embroiled in a power struggle with Tigray interim administration appointed by the Ethiopian Prime Minister in 2023 as a part of the pre-trio. Yeah, pre-tria. PERTORIA.
Not sure. I'd have to look at the word. I'm sorry.
Yeah, see?
Power struggle, Pretoria.
Pretoria Agreement.
Yeah.
That ended the Civil War from 2020 to 2022. Very recent. Like, the internal division has led to violent clashes with the Tigray People Liberation Front.
Right.
I'm sorry, that acronym is just too... My tongue would have got tied. Forces seizing control of key areas in Tigray. Eritrea is reportedly supporting these... Eritrea. I don't know why I say Eritrea. Eritrea. These factions of the TPLF potentially undermining Ethiopia's ambitions for sea access. The situation is further exacerbated by the incomplete implementation of the prior named agreement, including Tigray's defense forces disarmament and the continued presence of Eritrean troops in Ethiopia. These developments have raised fear of a potential war between Ethiopia and Eritrea, which could have far-reaching consequences for regional stability and humanitarian conditions. Now, for the background, it's quite a read. So
yeah. So what are they dealing with right now as a result of? What are some of the things that are going on?
I mean, one of the things that really drew me to the issue was the violence that Tigrayan women are facing as a result of this conflict. And honestly, this comes from the Vatican News.
Okay.
So yeah, women's human dignity continues to be violated amid the ongoing war in Ethiopia's Tigray. And this is the article, by the way, from May 28, 2025. Into Ethiopia's Tigray region with sexual violence. Can I say that on this?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Actual violence employed as a weapon of war, as documented in a recent report written by, that's something French, but it'll be down there. The article will be linked. Winner of the World Press Photo International Photography Award in Africa. Yada, yada, yada. Skipping that part. Okay. The war, which began in northern Ethiopia in late 2020 between Ethiopian federal forces and the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front, has killed tens of thousands, displaced millions, triggered famine, and devastated local infrastructure.
Now, just pause for a minute. Tens of thousands of people, famine, mass migration issues in order to avoid a conflict.
Mm.
So, wait, are we talking about Gaza? No, we're talking about somewhere else, right? Haven't heard about that one. Which, by the way, you said 2020.
Yeah.
See,
so, like, what were we in America focused on in 2020?
Well, COVID. I mean,
COVID. Once again.
Yeah.
Coming up. One election.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
See, the media is very
these things.
Very fickle about weather report and what they deem, and this is what I'm issues, especially when it comes to issues in Africa, aren't spotlighted.
Right.
Aren't highlighted.
Right.
As as honestly, I feel like this issue with, Israel Palestine. I just feel like when it comes to issues in Africa, they get overlooked.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
And then when it comes to everywhere else, like, it's like, oh, this is so devastating what's happening in, Russia, Ukraine.
Right.
It's like, well, what do you mean? These things have been happening longer than that.
Right.
And there's not even like 1/3. There's not even half. There's not even like 25%. There's barely, maybe I give like, maybe 5% on a good day that people are actually talking about this.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's interesting when we travel to other countries, like when we're in Mexico or you were in Canada, we were in Canada, and you watch like their news and they will bring up like Africa. And I remember when we were in Mexico last and I was just flipping channels trying to find something in English, and I went on like CNN International. Well, CNN International is also, the United States and whatever, but there was like a whole like hours of stuff about Africa and all the things going on there and all that, and I'm just like, why do I not see this in America? And it can't be, well, because you don't live close to Africa. Well, neither does Mexico. So why is it that I'm in Mexico and I'm seeing stuff about Africa, but if I cross the border, I'm not going to get this news,
Yeah, then it's like, it's just, why is other people suffering above others? Like I said, it's not the suffering Olympics. We're not going to do that.
Right.
But I do want to highlight, and this is media bias. Like, in any case, like, I mean, and we're in America, so we know media bias when, there's, Black or brown, Native American, Latino, and then it's, Jessica Jones,
right,
somewhere,
right.
It's just like there's not that level of importance,
right.
And I do feel like that both this issue in Ukraine and Russia, and this, these issues in Israel Palestine, is because I don't want to call them, I'm going to separate these two. Yeah, Russia, Ukraine, because they're white, Israel, Palestine, because I do feel like, they're brown people, then it's like, oh, look at these white people.
Right, that's the narrative that people are trying to push.
That
right
going on. But then, like, when it's other, when it's Africa or even Yemen,
right,
like that has been going on for so long.
Yeah.
And just still the media doesn't latch onto that. Like,
right.
I mean, like those countries were right beside each other, basically. Right beside each other, basically, but like in the same region. And news for Israel Palestine,
right?
News for Yemen,
right.
Right. What's going on?
I mean, the Houthis were attacking Israel, so like, yeah, same neighborhood.
Like, I mean, what are we doing in the media? Like, if we actually care about getting or spreading awareness to these issues, like I said, there's multiple issues going on.
Right.
Why would it highlighting 2?
Right.
We can make space for awareness on multiple issues instead of just 2.
Yeah.
Like, we can all talk about different things.
Right.
We can make space, but I feel like this is what people are talking about. This is what popular. This is what gets the most clicks. This is what gets the most views. Mm-hmm. So this is what's gonna like permeate the media.
Right.
So when you get something every day, you feel like, oh, it keeps stacking on you. Like, it is what we were talking about earlier, where it's like, you know, keep consuming the same media every day. So you feel like everything is stacking. Mm-hmm. And then you feel like, you know, you begin that place of hyperventilating, and then like you're stressed, and then you're like, oh, they're out to get me, and then like you're always on edge, and you're like, well, you know, you need to, you know, stop saying this because and then like you're yelling, and then like you're just everything is out of control, and you're not yourself.
Right.
Like, you can be passionate about an issue and also keep composure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you to our sponsors at Darshan Yeshiva for making this content possible. Darshan Yeshiva provides beginner-level online Jewish learning, including the very popular Conversion to Judaism program, with sponsoring rabbis and students all over the world. Start your Jewish journey any place, anywhere, and anytime with our conservative, reform, reconstructionist, Jewish renewal, humanistic, and post-denominational rabbi mentors. Become the Jew you always wanted to be with Darshan Yeshiva.